Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to Feature Friday. We'll get started here in 2 more minutes. Hope everyone has had a wonderful week. And boy, howdy, it sure is nice weather outside right now. So, yay, it is like really good springtime, I think, is finally here, everyone. Oh my goodness. I'm so ready for warmer weather. But we'll get started with our Lunch Box Quilts, Just Flowers tutorials here in just a moment. Right at 6 o'clock as usual. Hi Tracy. Welcome. Woohoo. I get a sip of my coffee here. Oh. And as you can see on the wall and behind me, there are my 3 completed blocks from last week. They were so much fun to make, and it's going to be even funner to make the next ones. Hi Pamela. Welcome. Let's see here. Where is... Did a big shift around here in the studio this week. Oh my gosh, I've almost got everything reset and cleaned and all that fun stuff. Hi Debbie. Hi Vanessa. We'll get started here in about 1 more minute. I think I see what I'm looking for. I'm going to bend over the table. Woo-wee. There it is. I want to make sure I'm going to tell you to make the right amount of blocks for tonight's episode. Yes. Perfect. Okay. Yeehaw. I've already got my 3 different sets of 3 blocks tonight. I've already got my fabrics laid out and the threads as well. Hi, Allison. Oh, wonderful, Al. Y'all have been getting so much rain and in the higher elevations, oh my gosh, so much snow. I know y'all really needed that out there. Hi, Carolyn. Oh my gosh, Carolyn from Paducah. Oh my goodness. Hi, Mia. You know, Carolyn, I used to live in Paducah. Had a house out in Lone Oak. Oh my gosh. It will soon, Carolyn, it will soon be the crazy time of the year for everyone that lives in Paducah. Well, welcome, Carolyn. I'm happy to have you here. Welcome. And tonight we are doing, hi, Becky. And it is 6 o'clock, everybody. I will keep my eye on the chat window, so please, by all means, when you come into the room, say hello. And hi, Christina. We are going to get started with tonight's group of blocks. So I'm going to swap my camera. You can see in behind me, there's the 3 blocks from last week that we did. And what we're doing is our Lunch Box Quilts, Just Flowers quilt top. Let me hold this up. This is what we started last week. Right here is what we're making, is this embroidered quilt top. Isn't it beautiful? And before I get started, I just want to do a quick announcement. Hi, Lynn. Oh, you worked at Lourdes Hospital. Let's see, I had one of my surgeries there. Which one did I have there? I either had my neck. I think I had my neck surgery at Lourdes. I think. I know I had a lot. I went there for physical therapy. Anyway, what I have on my website this week, one of the things that is new on my website in the shop, and here in the shop, I got these in. These are 5-inch charm packs, and it is called Glass Beads 5-Carat Gems. There's 42 5-inch charm packs, and they're all beautiful jewel tone colors. Check those out. Oops, there we go. I'll just flip through a few of them. Those are available on my website. Aren't they pretty? And there's a lot of other stuff on there too. I'm getting new stuff in each week and getting listed on my website. And for those that haven't seen my website before, here is a link to it. Let's see, paste, hit the enter key. There is my website. And if you're just tuning in, please remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button down below, and turn on and ring that bell. That way you'll get notifications whenever I post new videos or new lives for everyone. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. They are beautiful, aren't they? And those of you that know me know I love to make quilt tops using pre-cuts. So this is the newest one that I have in the shop right now. Set those to the side. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to swap the camera. I'm going to move the camera. Going to move the camera. There we go. Okay. And what I'm looking at right here and how I'm keeping track of what I'm doing. This is the instructions that come with the CD and everything from Lunch Box Quilts. Okay. Lunchboxquilts.com. If your local quilt shop doesn't have them and you need it and you want to sew along, you can just buy it online and download it online and all that fun stuff. But last week what we did, okay, there we go. This is what was on the wall behind me, Flower 01 large. Okay, so that is for machines that can have at least a 10 by 10 inch hoop. Okay, if your embroidery machine does not do a 10 by 10 inch hoop, you would have had to done Flower 01 alternate last week, and you need 3 blocks. Okay, 3 blocks. So I got 3 blocks of 1 large is what I did. And then this week we're doing Flower 01 small, 3 blocks of that. I cut my fabric 8.5 inch squares. It'll make a 6.5 by 6.5 inch finished square. That gives me an inch all the way around to play with. And what I'm going to do here, check it out. I've got it hooped. I have tearaway stabilizer underneath. This is my fabric. It's a very light gray silvery fabric. And what I'll do, the first thing I'll have it do, I'm going to baste that fabric to my tearaway paper that's in the hoop, just like last week, everybody. So I'm going to insert this on my machine. I think, hold on. There we go. And I'm going to choose the embroidery design that says 01 small. Let me move my other camera and get it ready, and I'll show you what I'm doing on my machine here. Okay. Right there. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have it in a USB stick over here on the side of my machine. So I'm going to touch my pocket, and it's in that USB holder, B pocket, Just Flowers is where I put it, and then I'm going to use the PES file format. Now that one, Flower 01 large, is what we did last week. This week, you either did 01 large or 01 medium, which 01 medium is that alternate. For instance, 01 large would be Solaris, Luminaire people. 01 medium would be Altair, Destiny, Meridian people. And Flower 01 small, all of us should be able to do that one. What the hoop that I'm using, check it out. That is a 6 by 6 inch embroidery hoop. So a lot of the blocks are going to be this size. They'll finish at 6.5 by 6.5 inches. And that's okay, because we're going to trim off the excess a little bit later, and we'll make them that size. But anyway, we're going to use flour for tonight, flour 01 small. Right now I am, Carolyn, right now I am stitching on the Solaris, yes. And I also have an Altair and Meridian in the studio as well. But tonight I am on the Solaris. These instructions I'm giving will apply to all machines. The only thing that's different constructing this is what we did last week, whether you're going to use 01 large or 01 medium. Everything else will be the same for all machines. Okay, so I selected my 01 small, and I'm going to hit set. And now I'm going to go to embroidery stitch out mode. And notice when I hit where the word down here where it said embroidery, oops, hold on. Let me just go back. There we go. Make sure you can see what I'm saying. I just noticed that. Okay. Right now we're in embroidery edit because it says embroidery here. Okay, embroidery edit. I'm going to go to embroidery, layout, and see that little box right there? It's a frame with a flower inside of it. That's how you add a basting stitch to the beginning of the design. Whether it's a design you've created, or just like with me, I've brought in a digitized design, a commercial design that was purchased. I'm going to touch that, and then when I touch layout again, look what's happened. The first thing it's going to do is do the basting stitch. It will do a box around there. And the reason I'm doing that is just to stabilize my fabric on top of the stabilizer. It'll make big stitches, and it will be fairly easy to rip out. And you'll see me do all of that on camera tonight. So I'm going to rotate this little camera. I'm going to go up like this. And now I'm going to tell it, I'm going to press the start button, and it is going to stitch out. It's going to do a basting stitch. Now this thread that I have in it right now, my upper thread, that is the actual first part of the embroidery thread that I'll actually be using. Okay. Next, it is going to stitch out the placement stitch for my first layer of appliques. Okay. So once again, all I have to do is hit the start button, and it will stitch out the next step. And the shape is going to be very similar to what we did last week, but it's going to be much smaller. The design is. Yes, Mark, it will. Good question, Mark. So now what it's done, and you can kind of see it there, that is the actual outline. So what I will do next, I am going to place down my first layer of embroidery fabric, and this is the flower petals, is what this is, everyone. So I'm just going to lay this, what I am using are layer cakes. I had one package of tulip pink layer cakes that I am using for all my applique fabrics, okay? So I'm going to lay this down here. I'm just going to line up this edge and the top edge with my basting stitch from the frame. Okay, and then I'm just going to have it stitch it down. This is the tack down stitch. could have used embroidery tape to hold the edges down if I had wanted to. Or I can just use my fingers. I'll just make sure I pay attention and don't get it under the needle. There you can see the outline of that. Now, if you wanted to, you could take it out and trim off the excess fabric. Or, notice over here on my machine, the next thing it's going to do, stitch-wise, is going to stitch down the placement stitch for the round center of this flower motif. So I'm going to go ahead and place that fabric and tack it down and then trim them both at the same time. For instance, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do the start button again. And now just going to stitch down the placement stitch for the circle, for the center of the flower. And well, it's not going to take much fabric for that, is it? So here's the other layer cake I'm going to use for this particular hooping. And that just takes about a 2-inch square of fabric is all. I'm just going to use my scissors and cut me out a little square of fabric. Because all we have to do is make sure that circle is covered with fabric for this next step, which is the tack down stitch. That was the placement stitch. And now I'm just going to tack that down. Now I get to remove the hoop and trim off the excess fabric. Okay, I'm going to move to a different camera just to give us some more room here. There we go. Back that view out some. There we go. I'm just going to remove my hoop and just make it easier to trim. There we go. Kind of get that out of my way. Now the scissors I found really work well for this project. These are Kai 4-inch curved tip embroidery scissors. Okay. They're great for trimming appliques, especially for those in a small space. Hi, Linda. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just hold up the edge. I'm going to trim the little circle here first. I'm just going to hold up with my fingers one edge of it right here. Let's see how I can get that on camera. Let's go back to the other one. Let's go back to the other camera. I want you to be able to see how I do this. There we go. I'm going to hold up on one of the corners, and I've got the curve, so the bottom of the curve is going down to the fabric. Okay. I'm just going to slowly trim it right next to that tack down stitching without cutting the stitching. Now this stitch here, this will all be covered with thread. When it's all said and done, you'll never see it. I tell you, I met Angie Stevenson, the owner of the Lunch Box Quilts at the Rusty Barn show in Phoenix. And I love her designs. They stitch out so beautifully. She really knows how to digitize a design, let me tell y'all. Okay, there's that one. There's the center. I'll hold on to that. I'll put that little scrap away. You never know what I might be able to use that for. And I'm going to trim all the way around the flower petals. So by doing it like this, I eliminated one step of having to insert and remove the hoop and blah, blah, blah. I find it just as easy to do multiple layers because there's still that orange underneath this, so you're not really saving fabric or anything by trimming this first and then stitching and then trimming this first. Okay. I just find it's easier for me to rotate the hoop as I'm cutting, so it's at the right angle. Here we go, right there like that. You just don't want to pull your fabric out of the hoop and unhoop it. Just take your time. It's all good. Okay. I did not do a practice one of these before tonight. So if I make a boo-boo, you get to laugh at me and see me do it live on camera. Oh, come on, you. Here we go. Okay. Move that over just a bit there. And like I said, there's quite a few blocks. It'll be in this size. Now, if you don't have a 6 by 6 inch hoop, that is not a standard hoop that comes with the machine. You can just use whatever size hoop you have and just hoop stabilizer in it, and then float your background fabric on top of the stabilizer and baste it down like I did there. And then you don't have to cut up such large pieces of background fabric. Hope that made sense. And all I'm doing, as you see what I'm doing here, I'm just rolling this up as I go to keep it out of the way. The biggest thing to be careful with on this step is not to cut through your backing fabric. Oops. Come on, you. There we go. We're getting there. The layer cake I used is a Tula Pink True Colors layer cake. That's what it is. In the photos of this quilt from Lunch Box Quilts, Angie used Kaif fabrics for her sample. It was beautiful. I saw the actual live sample for this out in Phoenix. And one more little snip. There we go. Woohoo. That one is done. Look at that. Isn't that cute? It's cute just like that. Woohoo. Let's put it back in our hoop now. I know I'll have to rethread my needle. I saw it come unthreaded. We'll get our hoop back in first. Then I'm going to rethread my needle. Threaded, and all I have to do now, since what I basted and did my tack down stitches with is actual thread for the first part of this embroidery. Hold on a minute here. I did not thread, or I just drug it back out. Let's do that again. Let's do that one again. There it went. It's in there now. I saw it go in. Okay. All I have to do now is press the start button and we'll get it started. But it's a whole different beast trying to trim on a camera and not on a camera. It's much easier to do that trim on a flat surface. You're 100% correct. This step right here is actually the longest process for this design. Not nearly as long as it was last week. Total stitch out time for this whole hooping is approximately 24 minutes. But what it's doing here is actually putting its first underlay down, and the actual stitching off of my wall. Check this out. There's what the actual stitch. Come into focus. And there we go. There's what the actual stitching looks like. Isn't that beautiful? It is so lovely. Right there. And for those of you that want to know, yes, I am using a size 75 embroidery needle. 7511 embroidery needle is the needle I have in. And I'm personally using Superior Magnifico thread. That is what I have the largest amount and variety of embroidery colors. You can use any type of embroidery thread. That just happens to be what I currently have. But you can see how it's going around each one of the petals here. It's defining the petals. And then I have a different colored thread to go around the little circle. This is the thread I selected for that green fabric. It was this one right here. Yes, Carolyn. Yeah, she actually digitized it to do this. What it's stitching out right now is not a built-in embroidery design stitch into the machine. She actually designed and created the stitch in digitizing software. It's amazing. Just to show you a different color of it. Here it is on this other one. Totally different colorway. See that? It's too bad you still don't have that jumpsuit. Vintage stuff like that really sells for a good price nowadays. closely watching soil temperatures around my area because it is very close to mushroom hunting season here. And Sunday and Monday, I'm going to be out on the hiking trails, getting my first foray into the woods, looking for mushrooms this year. I'm going to take a camera and take some cool photos and stuff as well. For those of you that are on here that are part of our membership club, tomorrow night at 6 we will be doing fabric painting in the private club membership area. Once this one is done, I'm going to get my second one started. And then after I get it started, I will do I'll rip out the basting stitch and remove all the paper off the back of it while it's stitching out the second one. I find it very relaxing and almost meditative to sit in front of my embroidery machine while it's stitching out. And I will be honest with you all, I have actually fell asleep watching my embroidery machine stitch. That's how relaxing it is. I'm sure I am not the only one that has done that. At least I hope not, anyway. Now the blocks for next Friday night, we only have to stitch 2 of those, flower number 2. And next Friday night I will show you how to use the market block templates to square up the blocks. it is amazing how this just goes back and forth and cuts down these layers of thread to create this delicate web of thread here. Karen, I'm actually going to cut this in my long arm and quilt it, is what my thoughts are right now. And I'm going to use a gray thread. Let me show you what thread I'm seriously probably going to use. I've discovered that there's cotton silk finish thread to piece with, and that's what this is. It's 100% cotton, but it has a silk finish to it by Mettler. And this is what Angie Stevenson, the owner of Lunch Box Quilts, there we go, what Lunch Box Quilts used to quilt her sample with. So this is what I'm leaning towards quilting, putting in my quilting machine to quilt with, is a gray thread. I just wanted to kind of blend in. That one actually would stick out a little bit. You can see the difference of it. I might need a lighter shade of gray for that pattern. But this is, and I'm probably going to just I'm actually thinking of just doing a nice small stipple between all of the flowers out to the borders. But that's what my thoughts are right now here. Excuse me. Person wanted to, echoing would be pretty as well, Carolyn, I agree. But a person could actually quilt this in the hoop and then kind of use a quilt as you go method to attach all the blocks together if you wanted to, if a person wanted. Yeah, if a person wanted to. Absolutely, Karen. It will be fun to see it finished. Yeah, the blocks last week for a timeline were the longest blocks to have to make. It was like a 52-minute stitch out for each one of those first 3 blocks. And this one is a 24-minute stitch out for just one of them, so it really reduces the stitch out time in half. And quite honestly, if I look at this, there are 8 more sets of blocks, not counting this one, of this size. And then there are 5 sets of blocks that are 6.5 by 12.5 inch. Becky, I don't think I will quilt inside the flower petals. I haven't decided yet. But looking at it right now, I'm thinking no. We'll see. If I did that, I would totally have to put a different thread color in, because gray on top of this would not look good. I would definitely quilt right up and outline all around the petals. And then I'm thinking an overall meander all the way throughout the background fabrics until I get to the border, and then I will probably do my signature feathered vine for my border. When I quilt, I do all pretty much quilting every month. I don't have robotics on my long arm. I like to be in control. You never know. I could totally change my mind. Once it's in the frame, I could pull out a bunch of rulers and do a lot of ruler work on it, so I'm just not sure. But initially, my first thoughts are, I don't want to take anything away. I don't want the quilting to overpower the actual applique design, which is why I'm thinking of a nice neutral type of background fill, just to add texture to it. I love her designs too, and she is genuinely a very, very nice lady. I really enjoyed spending. We were working at the same booth for the Rusty Barn Quilt Show in Phoenix for 35th Ave Sewing back there in Phoenix. Yeah, such a super. It was her birthday too, so we all got to sing happy birthday to her. It was awesome. Okay, so I'm going to do a thread change. I'm going to put in the green thread to go around this flower center. Let's see if I can back that up enough where you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Raise it a little bit. There we go. Okay. Get that old thread out. Put the new green thread in. And just 2 minutes left now. Just going to do that little circle applique. Press the start button. That's all there is to it. No, Christina, it could be a quilt as you go. If you wanted to do it in the hoop, you could quilt each one of these. The blocks would not be the same finished size as what's in the pattern. You could convert it into these designs as a quilt as you go, but it would definitely not look like the finished quilt in the picture if you did so. Almost almost done. Woo-hoo. And that block has finished stitching. Woohoo! Let's take this out here. There it is. Isn't that pretty? I like it. See how close I get it, and it still, if the camera is still focused. There we go. You see how beautiful the texture is on this. And it's not hard, it is so soft. It is just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful design. Okay. So, I'm going to take this one out. I'm just going to set this to the side for a moment. And I'm going to have to rehoop. Let's see here. I think I can reach my stabilizer I cut from right there. There we go. Let's see if I have enough room here to do this. No, I'm going to have to go over here and rehoop everybody. I'll be right back. Okay. I've already got everything cut. There we go. And now, since the machine is completely set up, as far as the design, that makes it easy. I just have to change threads. Yeah, let's give that a snippy. And my next set, these two colors of thread and these two fabrics right here. And I'm going to start, I think, I'm going to put this, I'm going to put this for the flower petals on this one. I had to think about it for a moment, which means I need this thread in. Okay. Okay, that's all set. So our first thing is going to be our basting stitch. Oh, Carol, I'm happy you like it. Thank you. Okay, so that's all basted in. And it's okay, Carol. Here's what we just finished stitching. And once I get this into stitching out the longer part, I'm going to do all my trim work on camera on that one. Okay, so there's my basting stitch. Now, oops, I'm going to put in this fabric for my flower petals. And just like before, I'm lining this up with that basting stitch. Right there. Okay. I'll smooth it out as best I can. I'm going to hit that start button. And you know what I forgot to do? I did this out of step. I was supposed to put down my placement stitch first. And I got to jabber jawing, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll just do my tack down stitch right on top. Because this stitch is not as heavy as the tack down stitch, so it's all good. Okay, so now we're going to do, here's our tack down stitch. Now we'll be all caught up and back in zinc. Woohoo! No, Carolyn, I do not slow down my machine. It is set to its highest level, and the way things are digitized, the machines will automatically slow down a little bit when they need to. The only time I ever slow down my machine is if I'm using metallic threads or if I'm having some type of thread issue. That would be the only time I would slow it down. Pamela, I'm actually using the Baby Lock 6x6 inch hoop. It is an optional hoop. It does not come with the machine. But this is the 6x6 inch hoop, which is perfect for the small blocks in this particular design, because all of these small blocks, the designs are like 5.5 by 5.5 inches, so it's really the perfect size hoop for that. There we go. Now we are going to do our placement stitch for the center of our flower. I need an approximately 2-inch square of fabric for that applique in the center. And I'm just rough cutting it. All I have to do is cover up that little circle right there with this. There we go. And press that start button again. Oops. Now, if you wanted to, you could use embroidery tape to hold the fabric in place. But I didn't do that tonight. Now, all I have to do... Oh, wonderful, Pamela. Yeah, so now all I have to do is actually trim my excess fabric from here and from the petal again. And for that, I'm going to use my little Kai curved tip embroidery scissors. I'm going to remove my hoop from the machine to do this. And I'm going to try to get me a little flatter surface. I'm going to put it down here. Make it a little easier to do, and I'll swap the camera because this one here will not come down at this angle easily, I don't think. Oh, it will. Okay, that'll work. There we go. Okay. If I bring it back over this way some. Just being careful not to cut the stitches, that it any of the tack down stitches around the designs. And yes, I will save these little scraps of fabric. Never know what creative thing a person could do with it. These are smaller than crumbs, I must admit. But I think I'm going to save all little pieces like this and use Mod Podge and do something creative with them. Okay. Now we'll just go around and clip out all around all the flower petals. These little scissors are wonderful for doing this, let me tell you. I've tried them all. I've got duck bills and all that fun stuff, but these curved tip scissors I find really work well for me. I have some ordered for the shop, but right now they're on back order. So I will be getting them in soon. Almost there. And that one right there, we'll have that one completed. Completely trimmed. Oops. Left a little bit too much of a tip on it. There we go. Alrighty. And now we can get that process restarted. Yeah, but the little 6x6" hoop was really handy for that, that's for sure. I had never used it before for anything. To be perfectly honest, I've had it for a long time. Had it before I had the Solaris or the Altair. Okay. Oh, thank you, Karen. Oh, absolutely, Carolyn. These are all straight seams. This could totally be pieced. This, after you get the embroidery part done, could totally 100% be pieced on your serger. 100% for sure, yes. And you know what? I will do that on camera. I will piece this together with my serger when it comes to that time. Alrighty. So next, it's going to stitch out this it's going to stitch out this part right around here next on this. And while it's doing that, I'm going to trim this one up. Okay, so let's get it started. Let's get it started. And what I'm first going to do here, I'm going to rip out all of my basting stitch all the way around that I started with. These make about fairly long stitches. There's probably 2 stitches to the inch for that basting stitch, so they're really big basting stitches. I'm just going to cut about every 4th stitch, and I'll just pull it all out. Lay my thread tails in one spot so I make sure I get them all picked up. And this isn't bad to do, it gives you something to do while it's working on the next block. Will keep you from napping at the machine. And you can piece these blocks. Oh, you're welcome, Carol. You can piece the blocks together on your sewing machine, on your serger, whatever machine you have, you can piece them together. If you have a Sashiko, you can piece them together with the Sashiko machine. Just snipped and put in my little trash can. Now then, as you can see, the basting stitch is all gone. Now, I'm gently going to pull this paper off. I'm going to pull it so that it goes from the tip of the petals towards the center. Like right here, check it out. Just nice and slow. Now this stabilizer says ultra clean tear on it. It is coming off super easy. There's so many different types. Look at that. That was really super easy to come off. Oh, I know that I love this one too. I actually made a quilt quilt in there I've made out of this particular layer cake. I don't have any more of those layer cakes at this time, unfortunately. But now, see how nice and clean all of that came out? Now I'm going to take out all these little envelope papers as well. And how I like to do it, I put my finger underneath this section right here. My finger is right there. That way I'll know if I can feel the metal if I let my tip of this in too far. I just want to put a slit. See, it's not sticking out there. Right there's my seam ripper. It's not sticking through. Then I'm just going to put a slit and get that started so I can get a hold of it to rip it out. You're just not able, it's not perforated enough around the edge here to do it without that seam ripper. So I just find it's just easier for me to do it right there like that and give it a start. Once you got it started, it comes out super duper easy. This particular ultra clean tearaway, you can actually just kind of scrape it and get it started right here. See that? Just scrape it from the edge like that and it came right up. This one's much easier to tear off. The one I was using last week was nice as well, but it wasn't the ultra clean. This one comes up a bit easier. Here, watch this. I'm not pressing down super hard, I'm more like I'm swiping it, brushing it that way. See there? Just to get it started. See, I'll have all this prep work on this done before that one even gets finished stitching out. That was a very good match I had for this lavender thread. It really looks good. I just love this. I really do. people say, gosh, you make a lot of videos. When do you have time to do anything? And my reply is, when I schedule to do a video series like this, I'm actually also scheduling time for me to be able to embroidery and sew, because I do have a lot on my plate. I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone, so to speak. I hope that makes sense. Christina, the stabilizer is Ultra Tearaway. I think what I have right now, I think that's an OESD stabilizer. I have a lot of stabilizer. I have Baby Log stabilizer, OESD. Those are my two favorite brands that I actually use the most of. This one is more of an orange than the one I just used before. Oh, here it is. On the last block, and there is the color that I used before. Oops, there we go. There we go. There we go. Anyway, so the focus. And this is the one for the next step. So you can see the color variation there. And this one is what will go around the center of the square. Now it's time to kick back, relax, watch this one do its thing here, and we'll have to do a color change here in a moment, and then we'll have one more block to make. And I'll get all three of mine done tonight on camera. And if you're just tuning in, this is what came in this week that I just got on my website. These back quarters. These are not back quarters, I'm sorry. These are 5-inch square charm packs, and it's called Glass Beads 5-Carat Gems by Wilmington Prints, Wilmington Fabrics. All rainbow colors. Check out all these beautiful colors in it. And if you know me, you know how much I like my pre-cut fabrics to make quilt tops. Aren't those pretty? I just love the little beads. Oh, we need a bobbin. We need a bobbin. So, what I'm going to do, and it tells me on the screen what to do. It says use the reinforcement stitch. So I'm going to touch that. It'll take 3 stitches in place. And then I'm going to actually press the button on the screen to move the frame. This hoop might be small enough I don't have to take it out. Nope, it's not. Okay, so I'm going to remove the frame. I'm going to put in a fresh bobbin. Yes, these are pre-wound bobbins, everybody. And where are my pre-wound bobbins? They're over at my new embroidery station. You walk over here and grab the pre-wound. Yeah, since I've reset the studio, I now actually have an embroidery station, everybody. I'm so happy. It's have a nice place for all my embroidery thread and all that kind of stuff over by the 6 needle. Pretty awesome. I'm so lucky to have that. Oops. Come on, you. There we go. Now that that's in there, I'm going to press OK. Attach the frame. There we go. Hit OK. And now it's ready just to hit the start button. It'll pick right back up where it left off. Carolyn, last week we started our first box last week. Did 3 last week, 3 tonight. And here is the list. So, I believe in total there is, let me see here, 6. I never added them up. Hold on. So there's 6, counting tonight. And then there's going to be 5, 10, that'd be 16, 22, 27, 32, and 9. A total of 41 blocks. Yes. A total of 41 blocks for this quilt. And that's for the large quilt. If you're just going to make the wall hanging, it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blocks for the wall hanging, 41 blocks for the 60 by 60 inch quilt. You can make the quilt bigger simply by changing the size of the borders on it. Okay. So I'm going to hit the start button and get it going. So an answer before I start, Carolyn, when I finish tonight, I'll have 6 of my blocks done out of 41. I'll have 35 blocks to go. And I'm doing a different block each week, so next week will be block number 2, and I'll only have to do 2 of those next Friday night. And there's 14 different flowers together, so since number 1 had 2 different sets of block number 1, there's a total, it'd be like 15 episodes just to stitch out all the blocks. Next Friday night, I will show you how to use, and we'll start trimming them, because the ones I did last week, I cut the background fabric 14.5 by 14.5, but this is what they sell. Angie sells. This is what Lunch Box Quilts. Mark block templates. And you use these to square up your blocks. These stencils fit right over the stitch out embroidery design, so you can mark your cutting lines to make sure the the weekend of May the 13th, I will be in Boise, Idaho at the Rusty Barn Quilt Shop. So if you're in that area, please stop by and say hello. I will be at the Idaho Sewing booth, demoing machines and talking about all the wonderful ink machines. It will be there available for purchase. Tell you that this fabric here and this thread really look good together. I auditioned the thread with the layer cake samples to get them to see how they would look together for sure. Oh, you're welcome, Christina. I just sit here mesmerized by the stitch out on this. Oh my goodness. But in the information kit, check this out. Once you get, and this is page 3 right here, and this tells you in this column what size to cut your background fabric, and then what you're going to trim it to. So last week, cut it out at 14.5 by 14.5, and it'll trim it down to 12.5 by 12.5. That's what's on this page. Once you go over though, here's where it blocks it, it blocks out each block. The design size, this is the actual stitch out size of the ones I had up on the wall. That is 10 by 10 inches. Alternate 8.3 by 8.27. So like I said, only Solaris, the Solaris size machine would be able to stitch this out. This one, these are the two here. Solaris, Altair, Destiny, Meridian, there. Okay, now it is time to change thread. Let's back it up and we'll change some thread. Get that lavender cut out. And what I'm doing with my embroidery thread, everybody, spools I've used for this project, I'm keeping set aside over that way on a side table. So if I need to reuse any of them, I'll have that continuity of color, so forth and so on. We'll just change out the thread. Thread the needle. It went through the eye. And I'm just going to hit that start button. It's only got 2 minutes left. I had also thought about using a variegated embroidery thread for this part right here. Not sure how it would look. I think it could look pretty awesome, but I don't want to mess it up at this point and get too out there. But I think a variegated thread would look beautiful on this portion of it. And then when it comes time to block assembly, on page 21, check it out. So for the large quilt, you're going to piece the blocks together into 4 sections. And so this would be this block right here would be in the upper left corner of the quilt, upper right corner, lower right corner of the quilt, and the lower left corner of the quilt. But this is its quilt section assembly diagram. That's in the instructions. And that one is all done. Woohoo! Looks really turned out nice. Alrighty. Let's have a look at that. Check that out right there. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Love it. And I just love this little stitch right here. I really like that one as well. Okay. So I'm going to take the hoop off, take this one out of the hoop, go re-hoop, and I'm going to stitch out the third block. Okay. Go to the other side of the table. Okay, that's all ready. Now then, let's cut out. I'm going to zoom it out, and I'm going to cut out. Ooh, it would, Carolyn. I agree. Some organza would be pretty on that. Take that thread out. Come here, you. And move that one to the side. And my final fabrics for this last block are these two right here. And this is the thread I chose for that fabric. And this is the thread I have chosen for that fabric right there. This time, this is going to be the center, and this is going to be the outside. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this thread off. This plastic off of this one. There we go. Okay. Now then, so first is going to be this pale lemony yellow colored thread. I'll just go ahead and thread the machine with that. Okay. That's all threaded. And we'll set these to the side for right now. That's for our next step. So first we are going to stitch down our basting stitch by pressing that start button. Woohoo. And then I'm going to put that corner, right there is the corner of that basting stitch. I'm going to line up the top edge and this side with the basting stitch. No, I'm not. I almost did it again, everybody. Now we're going to do our placement stitch just by hitting that start button. Woohoo. There we go. Now we're going to place down our applique fabric and do our placement. We got our placement stitch down. Now I'm going to do the tack down stitch for this applique fabric. I love this little hexagon fabric of Tula's. There we go. Then I will need a 2-inch square of fabric for my center. Just realized that. That's okay. 2" square approximately. Here we go. Then we'll do our placement stitch for our little circle in the center. Then here's my little approximate 2" square. I'll just cut and put right down there. And now we'll do the tack down stitch for it. Now I'm going to remove the hoop and trim the fabric. Here we go. You can just take your time, trim your fabric as you go, because if you try to rush during this, there's a good chance you might nick or cut into your background fabric. And that's never a good day when that happens. Round and round we go. There we go. Woohoo. Put that to the side. No scrappies. Reattach that hoop. And now all we have to do is hit that start button. And it's going to do the beautiful the beautiful work around all the flower petals. And while it's doing that, I am going to trim off all my paper. Now I'm picking out the basting stitches. Janelle. How are you this evening? Janelle, I will be in your neck of the woods. I'll be in Boise on the weekend of May the 13th. For the Rusty Barn Quilt Show. Stitching out the third and final block for tonight. I am removing my paper backing. Woohoo! Tell you that lemon yellow thread, it's kind of a pale lemon yellow thread. It really looks nice. Oh, that really looks nice. So this is the one that we're doing right now. Flower 01 small. Next week, we'll be doing flower 02. Look at that. That's going to be a fun one. I see like 3 layers of fabric there, I think. That's going to be awesome. Yes, this has outer petals, inner petals in the center. This will be a beautiful one. This is what we're doing next week, a week from tonight. Flower 02 on our Lunch Box Quilts, just flowers. Embroidery quilt on. This right here is what our finished quilt is going to look like, everybody. Isn't that beautiful? switching out this one right here too. All it has is a fabric applique in the center, and all of those sunflower petals are embroidery. That'll be a fun one to do too. Woohoo! Wonderful, Janelle. Please come by the rest of our quilt show and say hello. I would love to meet you. That's so sweet of you to say. Thank you. Once again, I was sitting here zoned out watching the watching the stitching being created for this beautiful block. Woo-wee. I really have to watch it because honestly, I can easily doze off at the machine watching it stitch. But yeah, it's almost got this one. There's about 6 more minutes left and this block will be done. Good. When I get the low bobbin warning in embroidery, I use the reinforcement stitch, which is this button right here with a little circle, and it makes a couple of 3 stitches up and down before I cut the thread to change out the bobbin. But no, I do not back it up a few stitches. Now, if it runs out of bobbin, if I'm away from the machine, then I would back it up about 10 stitches. But if I'm sitting here like I am now watching it, and I get the low bobbin alert and change, there's no need to back up your stitches in that aspect. But if it runs out a thread without the bobbin alert going off, or if you have a machine that doesn't have that, then yes, I would recommend going back about 10 stitches to start the next, after you refinish your thread. Now, if the upper thread breaks, for some reason, definitely if the upper thread breaks, you would want to go back and at least 10 stitches to restart it. But for the bobbin thread, generally no. The upper thread, if it breaks, I will definitely go backwards at least 10 stitches for that. Excuse me. That part is almost done, everybody. Change our thread color and let it finish the little circle. Here is the last one that we just finished doing. This was the first one. There's the second one for tonight, and this is the third and last one. Alrighty, I'm going to change out the thread. There we go. And right there. And put this one on. Come here, you. To get that, this is a new cone. I have to get that thread out from, there we go, out from its little groove. I'm going to re-thread that needle with the new thread and let it finish. That one really looks nice too, those fabrics. A good color match, that particular shade of peach for the little fabric I used in the center of that one. It really looks nice. Ooh, and there we go, everybody. There we go. Ah, the sweet sound of finishing music. Here we go. Let's have a look at this one. Check it out. Isn't that pretty? Woohoo. You get in closer, you can see that fabric here is actually little hexies. You can kind of see it there. Of course, this is all Tula pink fabric. All the colorful fabric is. Woohoo! And I'm going to take that one out of my 6 by 6 inch hoop. And there we go. There it is. Look how beautiful that is. Love this detail right here. So, I know we're all used, years ago, all you had for applique was a satin stitch. But boy, howdy, isn't that pretty? Look at that. It's just beautiful. Love, love, love it. Alrighty, everybody. Let me go back to my other camera. Click on it. Right there. Hello there. So yay, 3 more done. 6 blocks in total done. Next Friday night we will do block number 2, and we only have to make 2 of those. Okay. Let's just add these up here to the wall. Definitely not the order that they get laid out there. Once we get more done, I will put them in their proper position. And then I will take all this paper off after I'm off camera and all that fun stuff. But yay, there we go. The most beautiful lunchbox quilts Just flowers is what we're making, everybody. Next Friday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's always 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, everybody. We'll be live again and all that fun stuff. And thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Have a glorious weekend. Oh my gosh. Is this Easter week? This is Easter weekend. Happy Easter, everybody. Sunday, for Easter Sunday, we are going mushroom hunting in the woods on the trails, and then we are going up to our favorite Chinese restaurant for Easter dinner. So everybody, I'll see y'all real soon. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night.